had never lived on my own at this point. And so obviously my mom was a bit worried, how is that going to look like? She was very strict. She could even like, don't touch her. She's very overprotective of me, like she's my sister. Because sometimes even church gets a little bit too much for me, and I have to go outside and lie in the grass and stuff.
Hi, Hyatt.
Hi.
So, in this part, we're going to talk about your family
Yeah.
and how they received the diagnosis and the steps they've taken with you. And so, how has your family helped you navigate ways to make things more enjoyable after receiving the diagnosis, since you received it at around 11 years old?
A bit late, yeah. My family has been the most supportive. I think I wouldn't even be the person that I am today if it were not for my family, especially my mom and my dad. So when I got my autism diagnosis, I think a bit too young to quite understand it. But my mom, as had previously mentioned, had gone into like really researching what this is about and just ways to help me. And I'm very comfortable at home. I'm very comfortable to do whatever I feel like, even if I'm like, people just make space for me to be there. Like, even if I say like, oh God, if my father is probably playing something and he plays something really loud and I'm like, I really don't like that, I could be like, Dad, just could you please a little bit? And he gets it. So he would not think like it's a bit disrespectful or like, why are you talking to your dad like that? He'd just be like, okay. And then he like turns it down a bit and they give me space. Even if I say like, today I'm feeling a little bit overstimulated or I'm feeling like everything is a little bit, I can't leave, I can't go anywhere. They just be like, stay in the house, even if it's church. And I'm like, today I don't think, because sometimes even church gets a little bit too much for me and I have to go outside and lie in the grass and stuff. So just for them being understanding enough to make space for me to exist without feeling like you're too much to take care of, like you need a lot. They give me the a lot I need. They make space for me in various ways. Even at home, my mom makes sure all my sheets are cotton, just like so I can have something to rub on. Because like where I live now, I have my comfort chat and I can't carry it at home. So like they just give me cotton sheets, cotton stuff. Every time my mom is like, this duvet is Harriet's. Even when I was home recently, because I left my duvet at home. And then she was like, I'll give this duvet to your brothers because you're not. I was like, Mom, no, it has sentimental value. She's like, okay, I'll buy them a new one. Like, you see, and I'm not even using it. But they make space for me, even when you go to like family functions or somewhere, they just keep on checking on me. Harriet, is this okay? And even if they see I have left for a bit, they'll be like, Mate too. Like, just leave her. She'll come back. They make space for me to exist without feeling like I'm a lot or like I'm too much. I feel like at home I can just be myself. Yeah.
Okay, so other than your family, are there any other people who've played a significant role now that you're in university? Are there maybe teachers? Are there friends who you'd like to also sort of share how they've made space for you? Are there any other people who are significant who've done the same?
Yeah, I have a lot. Like when I was starting uni, I used to stay in the hostel and it became a little too much for me because they didn't allow you to cook your own food and you had to go to like buy food, and the food that I was buying was not really like good. And it was like, also I had a roommate who was not very accommodative of me. She'd like bring a lot of people and I'm like awake and there's like 10 people surrounding my bed and they're making noise and I'm just afraid because she was a third year and I was a first year and I'm afraid to just tell her. So I just call my mom and be like, oh my God, I'm really going through it. And she was like, just survive this semester because you've already paid. And then when you're done, I'll get you your own place. But then the thing I had never lived alone at this point. And so obviously my mom was a bit worried. And at the time I had this friend of mine, she's called Mimo, and we had been friends. She'd like take me to Chafua when I was like feeling like it's a bit too long of a distance, or sometimes she'd just go and buy me the food from outside when I couldn't walk. And so my mom was like, I think it's a good idea if you ask her if you guys can live together just for a few years as you go on with school. And I was like, and she's like, gladly. We moved in together. And she was very accommodative, like everything that I needed, I could just tell her. And even she wouldn't bring a lot of people to their house. And if I tell her, like, I'm a bit uncomfortable, she'd communicate. If you're walking and, like the way people like touch on you and do stuff, she was very strict. She could even like, don't touch her. She's very overprotective of me, like she's my sister. So when we lived with her for a few years, it helped me even gain it made the transition to living alone, a bit alone, better, to the point that even when she came and told me now I need to move out, it was like a big announcement, because she knew that this was going to be a change and probably it's going to. So she even gave me like 2 months prior to go and tell my mom. She helped me find a house. It's like she never left until the day she actually left. She left, made sure that everything that I needed even to stay alone. And even after I moved out, she'd come to my place sometimes and remind me of things. Just like, have you done this? Are you okay? Is anyone bothering you? My friends, like, I have a best friend that I've had since high school who also helped me navigate high school. But she was very accommodative of me. And even like when I mentioned that I need something, she, like, when we closed school and she's coming back, she bought me like a cotton shirt to sleep with. Once she bought me a water bottle when I said that sometimes I don't remember to drink water. She's like, hadn't been drinking water. And it actually had my photo on it and some writings. Like, I've had really amazing people and an amazing support group. Like, even though everything was not like completely, I never felt alone. I never felt like I had to do anything alone. Because if anything, I can call my friends, even though they're not that many. I only have like very few countable friends. But the ones that are there, they get the job done. Like, they are well-rounded friends. They're just good. I also have a very amazing partner. He's like, I call him my autism service boyfriend. He's like, he helps me even like when you're crossing the road and sometimes my brain is like not there. He'd be like, come back, just, he stays on the side, watch that, like all the time. He's very accommodative. Even like when I go to his place, he has things set out for me, like my cash cards, my stuff. He just makes everything better just being. So I have a support. I really do have a support group. And I think that's the reason I am the way I am today, because I never feel alone. Even though the autism journey is a bit hard, I never have to go through it alone. I have such a wide support system of people who really just. And I think I attribute it to me just being myself and authentic and always just saying what I mean, because the people who really like that, they like that like too much. Even my little brother, I have a little brother who's like not autistic. And recently we were having a conversation and he was like, Harriet, how are you able to do that? Because even when I'm walking around, I'm just jumpy, I'm singing to lyrics. Like, it's like the world does not exist. And he is like, how are you able to do that? And I just told him, this is just me. And he likes it. Like, I would want to be like you. It's so nice. I have people who really appreciate me for who I am and they take me as I am. And it has helped me even in my journey of getting to know myself, navigating through living with autism. I feel like everyone who's placed in my life is very accommodating. Like with you guys, working with you guys, everyone I meet in my life, ever since I started being like authentically myself, is just, they take me for who I am. And so like it kind of like blurs out the outside noise for anyone who'd even think different. Probably I wouldn't even know, because I only hang around people who genuinely like me.
And love you and appreciate you for who you are.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that with us. We've talked about your parents, we've talked about your friends. I just want to touch a little bit before we close this part 2 on maybe some of your teachers and maybe some of your professors in university. Have you opened up to any of them about your condition? And if so, were they accommodating in terms of maybe sometimes class is too much and you'd like to have a recess while others are still learning? So I'd just like to know, because you're in the Kenyan system and we do have some of our demographics is a Kenyan audience. If when you do disclose this, are they aware? Are they trained? Or is it something that they look at you blankly and they don't know what to say?
Mhm. I feel like I've really struggled so much as a person on the spectrum, just going through school with everyone who's not. Teachers in my life, I cannot name even one teacher who's accommodating or just like, I feel like when we're in school, some teachers just didn't really care about those students who do well, and the things they find weird, some tend to overlook. Some will like call my mom sometimes when I was in primary and be like, Harriet is like going through bullying, because I went through a little bit of bullying in primary school when I went to boarding school. And so it was like, I told my English teacher, I remember that time, and I was like, I feel like I'm going through something. I don't know if it is because I was autistic or just people are being weird. I can't really attribute that to it. Yeah, but I opened up to her. I don't know. She felt like a bit motherly at the time. And I told her, and she just didn't do much at the time. She came in class and was like, don't treat people different. She didn't even like point me out, like, don't hurry it. She just like did a very vague something, and then like when we were closing, she told my mom about it, and then I switched schools. But aside from her, I can't really mention anyone else. So in school, I've mostly had to mask, and just the people who are around me, like maybe my close friend Ivy, were the people maybe I could go to when I was really overstimulated. But really, I just thugged it out, like, till the end. Yes, I was suffering, but I think that's actually where I learned to mask a lot. Masking, which is like not being autistic at the moment, like I said. So yeah, like it in school, I just had to really drag it out. There's no systems put in place for me to make me feel comfortable. No one was even trying. Only my friends would notice. But in school, I just had to really tag it out.
So I know you've also told me that at some point, and I'd like for you to share with us that you worked. So even in the workplace, did you have to tell your colleagues or your boss or your supervisors? And if you did tell them, were any of them accommodating either?
Yeah, I feel like where I worked, I didn't really interact much with my boss because it was normally on site. I was like on site most of the time. So I told some of my colleagues, like Kipruto, I told him that, if you see anything or if I ask you a lot of questions, I'm autistic. And that's how I also find out that he has an autistic sister. And so, yes, he was very accommodating even. But like, I think I didn't need much because work was not like something I did every day. It's just when I need to go to work, I'd go. Like, I've never really had that much of a problem at work, or like even the need to tell someone that I'm autistic at work. I just told Kipruto because at that time we were going to be with him for a lot of, like, for the shoot. He was a photographer and I was also there to learn from him, and also I was the model. So I thought like I was going to struggle with maybe if they bring something and I'm going to like act weird, or like maybe I'm going to do, and I also was asking him a lot of questions at the time. So just to make him feel a bit comfortable or make him understand me more, like if I ask a lot of questions, just know I'm autistic. So just make me understand. Just I mentioned about me needing to understand things. So just make me understand. And he did. He answers all my questions, even when I asked like some very obvious or something questions, he accommodated me. So I feel like, yes, maybe in the workspace I have had to like tell a few people, but it never really like was like something because I don't work like a 9 to 5 that every day I need to be at work. It's just like very few, maybe, and then all the other work is done at home. So there wasn't really much need. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap for part 2. And guys, tune in to part 3 as Harriet takes us through her faith journey